That is not poetry. It is not philosophy. It is the single, unbreakable law that shapes the destiny of every human being who ever dared to dream, or who ever settled for less than what they were capable of becoming. You see, belief is not something you hold. Belief is something that holds you. It molds your actions, whispers into your thoughts, and carves your life into shape long before you realize what's happening. Every success story, every tragedy, every triumph and failure that ever unfolded in the history of mankind, began with a belief. Thomas Edison believed there was a way to harness light from darkness. Henry Ford believed that the average man could drive his own destiny on 4 wheels. Walt Disney believed that imagination could become architecture. And because they believed long enough, deeply enough, relentlessly enough, the world had no choice but to bend around their conviction. Most people never understand this truth. They wake up every morning trapped inside the cage of their own unchallenged assumptions. They don't see the bars, because the bars are made of thoughts. They say things like, I can't do that, I'm not that lucky, people like me never get a break. And so, their subconscious, obedient and loyal, says, as you command. Then it sets out to make those words reality. Understand this. Your mind is the greatest factory of your life. It manufactures your reality one thought at a time. And the raw material it uses is belief. You feed it fear, it forges limitations. You feed it faith, it forges opportunity. You feed it self-doubt, it builds walls. You feed it purpose, it builds doors. The question is not whether you believe. The question is, what are you choosing to believe in, again and again, every single day? Because repetition is the rhythm of creation. When you say something to yourself enough times, it becomes part of your identity. And once it becomes your identity, your life begins to align with it. Not because the universe suddenly changed, but because you did. When a man believes he is destined to win, he walks differently. He speaks differently. He carries himself with a quiet, burning certainty that others can feel, even if they can't explain it. And that certainty draws opportunity the way the sun draws life from the soil. Belief is the silent architect of behavior. And behavior, multiplied by time, becomes destiny. The tragedy is, most people use this same law against themselves. They believe in their limitations more than they believe in their potential. They repeat old stories about their failures, until those stories become their home. They defend their excuses as if they were protecting their lives, not realizing their excuses are the very chains that keep them small. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the opinions of others. You are the sum total of the beliefs you practice every single day. And if those beliefs are small, your life will shrink to fit them. But if those beliefs are great, if they are bold, if they are expansive, if they are built on vision instead of fear, then no force on earth can keep you from rising. Every empire begins in the mind of one man who refuses to believe in impossibility. Think of Andrew Carnegie, the man who arrived in America with nothing but a dream and a determination to change his destiny. He had no wealth, no connections, no privilege. But he had belief, a belief so powerful it infected others. That belief multiplied into steel mills, into fortunes, into philanthropy that changed the course of nations. He said, you can take away my factories, my money, and my land. But leave me my men, and I will have it all back in 5 years. What was he really saying? That, the outer world is only a reflection of the inner one. That what you believe and embody cannot be taken away, because it's not a possession, it's power. Belief is the foundation of creation. It is the soil in which every dream must first be planted. But belief alone is not enough, it must be repeated. You become what you repeatedly believe. Because a single thought, no matter how strong, cannot change your life. But a thought that becomes habit, that becomes identity, can. The brain is like wet clay. Every repeated belief is a fingerprint. The more you touch it, the deeper the mark. And one day, those marks become permanent. They form who you are, how you see the world, and what you will accept as possible. This is why discipline matters. This is why affirmations matter. Not because of some mystical magic, but because repetition rewires reality. Let's be honest. You can't fake belief. You can't pretend to believe in yourself while secretly feeding doubt every night before you sleep. Your subconscious knows. It listens to every whisper, every internal argument, every, I'll try, that really means, I'll quit when it gets hard. And it builds your world according to that code. So if you want to change your life, stop trying to change the outer circumstances. Start with the beliefs you repeat. Change the script that runs inside your mind. You must unlearn the language of limitation. You must silence the echo of doubt and replace it with conviction. You must look at your reflection and say, I am capable. I am destined. I am willing. And then prove it, through consistency. Because consistency is belief in motion. When you show up every day, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. You are telling the universe, I am serious. When you push through fatigue, through fear, through failure, you are demonstrating your belief not with words, but with action. And action is the proof of faith. The world does not move for people who want. It moves for people who believe so completely that their will becomes an unstoppable force. Let me tell you something most people will never hear. You are not waiting on the right time. You are not waiting on luck. You are not waiting on opportunity. You are waiting on belief. Because once you truly believe that you are worthy of the life you desire, your entire vibration changes. Your decisions sharpen. Your focus narrows. You stop negotiating with mediocrity. You stop explaining your dreams to people who don't have any. You stop chasing validation and start commanding respect. That's the moment your life begins to shift, not when you say it, but when you embody it. Think of a lion in a cage. It doesn't forget it's a lion because it's locked inside. Its nature doesn't disappear because its freedom was taken away. But if that lion grows up in the cage long enough, it stops trying to escape. It begins to believe it's meant to live small. That belief becomes its prison. And the saddest part, the cage door was open the whole time. That's how most people live, trapped inside beliefs they never chose. Told by society that they can't, that they shouldn't, that it's too late. But no belief is permanent unless you keep repeating it. So open the door, walk out of the cage. Decide, right now, to rewrite your internal story. Because the moment you change your beliefs, your entire world begins to rearrange itself around that decision. Every time you say, I can, you weaken the voice that says, I can't. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you prove belief with action. Every time you visualize your future instead of reliving your past, you shift your reality 1 degree closer to greatness. That's how transformation happens, not all at once, but through repetition. Through the quiet, daily practice of belief. And yes, you will be tested. Life will challenge your belief. It will send storms to see if you've built your foundation on faith or fear. But remember, even in the darkest nights, the stars still exist. You just can't see them because of the clouds. The clouds will pass, the test will end, and if you keep believing, keep acting, keep showing up, the light will return, because belief is not about what you see. It's about what you know even when you can't see it. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. That's what separates the average from the extraordinary. That's what built every empire, every invention, every revolution that ever changed the world. Music swells, strings rising softly. You become what you repeatedly believe. So, believe in your vision until it becomes real. Believe in your voice until it becomes powerful. Believe in your worth until the world has no choice but to recognize it. Believe in your potential until every doubt collapses under the weight of your consistency. And when you fall, because you will, get up, because belief doesn't mean you'll never fail. It means you'll never stay down. The person who refuses to stop believing is unstoppable. Pause, the music drops to a low hum. There was a time when Henry Ford's dream of the Model T seemed like madness. When people laughed at him, saying, if God wanted man to travel faster, he would have given him wheels. But Ford didn't listen. He believed. He visualized. He kept moving. And one day, he said something that echoes the truth of this entire philosophy. Whether you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right. That's the essence of belief. It's not the world that determines your destiny, it's your conviction about what's possible. So if your current life doesn't reflect the greatness inside you, that's not a curse, it's a call. A call to elevate what you believe is possible. Because success doesn't come to those who merely wish. It comes to those who expect. And expectation is another name for belief. Expect abundance. Expect opportunity. Expect to rise. Expect to overcome. Expect to become exactly what you were born to be, powerful, creative, unstoppable. Because life responds to expectation. And your expectations are formed by your beliefs. Dash dash dash. Every morning you wake up, you are standing at the crossroads between fear and faith. Whichever one you feed will decide your future. Feed fear, and your life becomes a cycle of hesitation. Feed faith, and your life becomes a symphony of progress. You become what you repeatedly believe. So believe boldly. Believe relentlessly. Believe until belief becomes your natural state of being. Because the world doesn't give you what you deserve, it gives you what you believe you deserve. Dash dash dash. Music swells one last time, slow, powerful, cinematic. So stand tall, lift your chin, silence the old doubts and awaken the truth that's been waiting within you. You were not born to be average. You were not born to blend in. You were born to create, to lead, to build, to inspire. And every step toward that destiny begins inside your own mind. The mind is your kingdom. Your beliefs are your crown. And your actions are the proof of your reign. So guard your beliefs. Refine them. Feed them with purpose and persistence. Because when your belief becomes unshakable, so does your future. Dash dash dash. You become what you repeatedly believe. So believe in something so great, that the world itself has no choice but to bow to its reality.